prepared in how to play against SUTD. So Ezreal being instantly locked in for SUTD side.
Yeah, I think in Ezreal, SUTD maybe playing it in middle or ADC, especially if you're aggressive AD carry. And NUS locking in the Gwen and Karma.
Yeah, so Gwen right now is being able to flex in both the top lane as well as the mid lane, and probably sometimes the jungle, right? But we do expect it to be a laner more than the jungle because of how weak he is in general in terms of the gank potential. But his clear speed is still relatively fast, but he doesn't have the CC to help gank. So I do expect Kimati as well, or maybe even Grass Grower to pilot the Gwen. But the Karma, a very good takeaway from the start of SUTD because Karma Ezreal is just too oppressive for lane.
And then now look at the Setna. I think the Setna pick pretty interesting from SUTD. Maybe even going tank Setna.
Yes, so right now the Senna Death has a new build, which is the Divine Thunder build, right? And that build has been really working very well because of the nerfs to Frostfire. But with both bottom lane being picked by SUTD, I think they might looking for the jungle and looking to lock in the pick, but no, they go for the Jax instead. And Jax probably going to the top lane.
It's either the Jax in top or the jungle. The flexibility of Jax allows for SUTD to play both top and jungle with that Jax.
Yes, and this Jax pick comes in very unique because we don't really see Jax being played so much in competitive, even solo queue lately because of Jax, how bad Jax is right now in the current state. But it just highlights that how Pretentious probably taking the Jax is very comfortable in the champion that he thinks he's able to beat out whoever's playing in the top lane. So now on NUS, they are banning out the Seraphine for the second ban phase. I like it because we talk about how SUTD are a team fight team, and they in general likes to play champions. They have a lot of team fight potential.
Yeah, I love the Nocturne pick from NUS. The team fight potential that Nocturne provides. You turn off the lights, and then they can't see anything. You basically cut off communications for them.
Yes, and when you look at how NUS is drafting so far, right, you don't really have an idea where each champion is going yet.
Yeah.
Because every champion is flexible. Nocturne, a triple flex. Karma, double flex, maybe a triple flex as well. And Gwen being able to be flexed in both the top and the mid lane. There's no certainty which champion is going where. But SUTD's draft, however, have the flex as well. Ezreal able to flex in the mid as well as the AD carry position. Jax, the jungle in the top. So there's still no certainty yet. But we have a rough idea of where each champions are roughly going now.
Yep, and NUS banning out the Victor. I wonder what SUTD will ban to answer this. And they pick out the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, so Kai'Sa is a staple pick for NUS. I love Kai'Sa in general, right? So I always encourage the use of Kai'Sa in game stuff. But now NUS locking in the Varus against the Ezreal, I think this is a very good draft in general because Varus has a longer range than Ezreal, but Ezreal early game still able to survive the onslaught from the Varus.
Yeah, and you think that Varus, you need someone with CC to proc that passive, such that you can allow for that 3-stack pop with that Q ability. Snipe out the Ezreal even at half health.
Yes, now SUTD locking in that Udyr, so it won't be the Jax jungle, it will be the Jax top lane, Udyr in jungle.
Yup, I wonder what would their mid be if this is everything.
I expect him to go for probably something like a die down, maybe even the Xerath or the Ahri, his comfort champ. So we talk about how the mid lane is always the one getting the leads in his lane, and from the lead, he snowballs the bottom lane. And knowing that SUTD picked Jax in the top lane, I do expect them
Nico!
to go...
Let's go!
No, not the Nico. Oh, my heart hurts so hard. But yes, again, SUTD with the teamfight com, Nico again, picked again against NUS. I think this is like a NUS curse, right? Nico into NUS is like the ultimate counter to NUS in general.
I personally love the Nico pick because I am a one-trick pony for Nico. I love the puns you can do with her.
Oh, and NUS looks to lock in the Xerath last, and Xerath being... Will it be a Xerath mid? Oh yes, it's a Xerath mid and a Karma support. So I like the draft coming from both teams. SUTD going for the standard teamfight com with the Nico in the mid lane, and then Jack's gonna be the only split pusher in the side of SUTD. NUS, however, they have a full dive poke com because you have the Xerath, you have the Karma, you have the Varus, and then you have the Gwen and the Nocturne to create the zone to prevent SUTD from charging in.
Yeah, and with them stopping them charging in, but that Nico, that ulti, you really Nico need to stay away from her.
Oh no, not the meme. But whether the Nico can Nico knee inside, that's a different question, right?
Yep.
Because with the zone control that NUS has, it's a bit difficult for SUTD to actually try to walk in. But NUS, however, they can't be the one walking into the Nico because they can get Nico need by Nico.
And no one likes to, get their Nico kneecaps broken by just a Nico.
Yeah, so we kind of highlighted this before the break that the players to watch are the mid lane because whether Legend is able to get his own lead from the mid lane and then snowball it to the bottom side is how the matchup will work. But for the NUS side, something to really focus on is on Kimothy in the top lane, right? Because he is playing the Gwen, and we saw how Gwen is just currently so strong in the meta that there's very little counters to Gwen in general. So usually in competitive scene where you see how Gwen is always either picked or banned in the first phase. And SUTD not banning out the Gwen just kind of tells me that they are comfortable going against Gwen, or probably that they haven't really played enough Gwen yet, or maybe enough good Gwens yet, that they don't find it a threat into the team comp.
Yep. And talking about those champs that are strong, we haven't really seen a Viego being picked in this week.
And I think in general, Viego is still very coin flippy in general because although he is a very strong laner, or even the jungler itself, but he is still very squishy, and it's all about timing and execution. And I think when you think about it in the highest level of play, where professional players are playing, Viego in general is able to last longer because of how well they are the champion. But right now we're looking at the campus legend side. The players are not really say a professional level yet, right? So they're not that comfortable playing passive. They're not comfortable playing very controlled style of play. It's still a very solo queue-ish, but in a more coordinated environment. That's how I describe it.
Yeah.
So I don't think Viego will be seen much, maybe unless the players have been spamming Viego so much in solo queue that they are ready to pull it out.
Yeah, I really would like to see a Viego. Once you get that reset, you pop that out. Boom, you get another reset. You pop the out again. You just push the players back and back.
Indeed, and looking at this game itself, NUS SUTD, this is my team itself. I have to support NUS, but I also like SUTD's draft in general because it's how they play and it's how they've been playing throughout the entire IVGF. So I'm really very excited to see how SUTD is able to get a win again over NUS, but my heart is always for NUS.
Yeah, and then for me, I love the Nico. I'm gonna support SUTD for this game because you can go Nico ni. Why not? So it should be a fun time to see who should emerge as the victor.
So what made you actually like Nico? Because there's so many champions to play, right? Why Nico?
For me, I watch anime, so there's this certain character named Nico. The one that does the Nico ni. So then,
okay.
Yeah. So in League, there's Nico. So it made me feel like, she's interesting enough to the point where, I want to main her. She has CC, she has that magic damage, and she has that big ulti that you can make plays with.
I see. And talking about Nico itself, I've been a Nico player for a while as well, probably when it came out, but it kind of fall down the meta, right? But Nico is still definitely a very strong champion. And when you can get that wonderful route coming in with you manage to hook someone through minions or even multiple players in a row, the extra duration of CC is just very, very good. And you can stack it up with your ulti. That's 100% a sure kill. And since Nico is such a niche pick, right? Not many players are playing Nico now. It comes down to whether other players aware of what Nico's ability can do. Can the players stock it out? Make sure that they don't walk into the line. And NUS, it's up to them to really show whether they are comfortable going against a Nico or not. And losing 0-2 to Nikos in IVGF, let's not go for the third one, right?
Yeah. It's just that the route that Nico provides, it feels like you're not prepared for that, It feels like an Anivia Q, or is that Zyra route, that type of CC that just goes through minions. It's easy to predict, but it's hard when, you're doing something else already.
Indeed. So, not talking about Nico, we look also at the bottom lane because we talked about how Lonely Soul, he is the AD carry for SUTD, and he is also the second pressure point of SUTD, first one being the mid laner. Looking at Ezreal Senna versus the Varus Karma, what are the thoughts on the lane?
I think really the bottom lane, if they are aggressive and daring enough, I think SUTD may even came out the victor here because the Varus and the Karma, you don't really have that CC to lock down the Ezreal or the Senna even, both AD champions as well.
So looking at the game right now, SUTD on the blue side and on the red side, NUS. I think the NUS team comp is relatively simple. Get the Gwen ahead slightly and probably look to leave Gwen on an island because SUTD is going to play to the bottom side. So NUS are looking to maybe hover through the bottom side and make sure that SUTD doesn't really punish the bottom lane too much. However, I do believe that NUS has a chance in this game And looking at the draft, I think both drafts are relatively even. However, I would still favor SUTD's draft a little bit more because of how easy it is to execute.
I really think that the Nico into the Nocturne is a really good pick. Even though SUTD goes blind, the Nico out just pushes away the amount of members that NUS can teamfight with.
Yes, but something to notice is how the Nocturne as well as the Zeref interaction works. Because you don't know where Zeref is shooting from, but it kind of gives you the idea of where the Zeref... It denies you the idea of where Zeref was shooting from, so it's very difficult to actually watch the map. And you can see the circle around you, whether the Zeref is shooting you or not. That's very difficult.
Level 1 cheese, but you know, you start that E, you get that, you change the cheese against the Gwen, so I guess it's a little skirmish up there.
And look at top lane, Kimberty going aggressive onto the Gwen, getting the next auto attack as well. Good start coming in from the top side.
Yeah, you force the Gwen to use that pot, and then you still have your corruption pot still available, you know.
Yeah, but this gives the priority to the lane over to the Gwen, so seeing how Kimberty playing very aggressively in the top side, I think that's what NUS wanted to do this game. And on the bottom side, it just depends on whether who can get the shove in first, right?
Who can get that level 2 and get that engage on, that is what they're looking for. And off the bat, you look at the amount of damage that Karma provides in that level 1 against the Setna.
Yeah, so this lane will depend on who is able to get the pokes much more onto the enemy AD carry and or even the support and start shoving the lane back into their favor. Mid lane looks like it's relatively even, so I expect what's going on, but here's the bottom lane trade.
Ooh, maybe even a kill right here as they pop the heal, and that's the first blood for the Ezreal. And now they're on the pursuit for even the second kill.
Yes, we talk about how SUTD, they are the more aggressive bottom lane, so they get the first blood in the bottom side, and it goes over to the Ezreal, so we will actually snowball the Ezreal a little bit.
Yeah, and now both bottom lanes are equal in sum, so I think it depends on whose skill is much better, you know. And then your Gwen just goes for an invade against a level 3 Udyr.
Yes, this denies the Udyr of his blue buff, and looks like NUS wants to steal the blue, but Nico is now moving over.
Yeah, you know, Nico can change characters, so it's hard to identify really whether who is the real Udyr, you know, or who is the real top laner.
Definitely, but NUS, although they get the invade over, they did not get nothing. They didn't get nothing much.
Even a solo kill maybe for Nico, but look at that sliver of health for the Zeref. And now Nocturne, maybe even looking to want to catch that wave.
That was unfortunate for Legend. He didn't get the last auto attack. He did use his flash, however, so mid lane flashes for both SUTD and NUS. So we do probably want to see the jungle impacting this lane more. And from then, we'll see how NUS or SUTD is able to use the mid lane pressure and probably affect bottom lane more, because right now the bottom lane is still in favor of SUTD because Ezreal got the first blood.
Yep. Once Ezreal has that first blood, he may even snowball that lead with that Sheen of his.
And now look at top lane, a very big wave is being shoved in. And this is actually favorable for the side of NUS because Kimberty is able to take up the big wave, and then he's able to go with a big lead, and then probably look to shove the lane, and then go for a good reset. And the Jax resets for the Doran Blade as well as the control ward. So not a very good back coming in from the Jax.
Yeah, I think really the top lane, I think NUS should be able to win this one, especially with the ganks that the Nocturne should be able to provide.
Yes, and looking at items as well, we see Ezreal already buying his Shin instead of the Tear. I really like the Shin buy in general because it gives you the more damage, right? The more pressure that you need to exert as the Ezreal Senna. And already, ever since winning the first blood, he is controlling the bottom side of the lane. So, SUTD right now, they have 2 winning lanes, but whether they can increase the lead even further so that they are in a more comfortable position, I want to see how SUTD does that.
Yep. I love how Nico has to be played in the mid. It allows for those easy trades, you know. When you walk up for CS, Nico just punishes you with that root EQ combo. Then half your HP just disappears.
Yes, but something about Zeref is more like, Zeref has the long range, right? It allows him to actually not be poked out by Nico. But I think what happened was the Nico managed to get a good flash E and caught the Zeref a little bit off guard.
Look at that! The EQ combo just cuts away your health of half of your HP.
Indeed, Legend really just showing that he is comfortable on this Nico pick and he's willing to go it blind against NUS.
And because of the long range of Zeref, I love how the Nico is playing passively as well.
Now, it is a 1000 gold lead in favor of SUTD. Most of it coming in from actually the bottom side, right? Because the first blood as well as the 10 CS lead and Senna's stacks as well just give NUS the not really the lead they want in bottom lane, but it's more like they're kind of behind. But Nocturne just finally takes his red buff. Top lane being trading.
Ooh, big stun there, but Kimothy is ready to turn it back. He's half HP, but that Q's heal and that ignite should be enough. Look at that damage. And Pretentious survives actually. And now look, both junglers on the top side and both top laners are low. Chica may be able to get this one off, but I think he gets spotted as look, the Nocturne lands a good Q, but they turn the fight over to the Nocturne.
Yes, Chica's right now trying to get the wave in because...
Oh, he flashes stun him, and then he try to go in, but that W won't be able to save you, as both both jungler and top kills your top laner as NUS.
Yeah, that was a little bit overstaying there by the start of NUS.
Oh.
And look at Legend here, he's trying to catch the no chat on off guard here.
He may be able to get him though. Look, Pretentious has set it up. He lands the Q. Ooh, forces the flash and gets. Look at that third auto attack passive. Just it's a laser beam towards you.
Yes, NUS right now they are 3 kills down. 2,000 gold lead in favor of SUTD. This is not the start NUS wanted.
But NUS has I believe the winning bottom lane with that poke that Varus provides. And you know, we've seen Reckless on the Varus before, but let's see if he will go to the Lethality Varus, you know?
I mean, you're definitely looking at Lethality Varus, right? He is building the Tear of the Goddess. He's going for the Muramana, and probably whether it is the Prowler Claw or it is the Dust Blade, it depends on how they want to play it. But now, NUS, they are playing really very aggressively in the bomb side. Karma as well as Varus versus the Ezreal and Senna. It seems that after the first blood, it has been in favor of NUS bomb side. Yeah.
Roughly after the first blood. So you win those trades as NUS, and then you go for that all-in dive on that bot lane. So, and while we're doing that, we may even see a dragon fight happen. But I don't think Cheekers actually know about this, and no chat should be able to get this for free.
Yes.
But look at the bottom lane, they're going for a gank. Forces the heal off, misses the root. Now Cheekers going for the dragon. It is a dragon fight. Who can smite it first is the winner. And ooh, the Udyr steals it away from NUS, and now they have full control of the river. Now they forces the remaining members of NUS off the river, but it is the first dragon, you know. It's like the Infinity Stones. You only have one, but you need all 4 to be good.
Oh, look at
that
Nico.
EQ stun combo, and now you're just gone. You force the heal, you force the flash off, and you can't even secure the kill. You may even lose because of the tower there, but I love the Nico combo if you don't even have vision there.
The Nico flash was a little bit short. If he had waited to go over the terrain to flash instead, he probably would get the last auto attack on the Xerath, and that would be a solo kill onto the Nico against the Xerath. And that is how SUTD play, just through lane proud itself, right?
True shot barrage comes through and gets the kill onto the Karma. I think that was a bit, you know, early for that recall over there.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's recalling or he actually was getting rooted by Senna's W, but it's just SUTD just playing the lane to perfection, and Jax even gets a solo kill onto the Gwen. This is not how NUS expects this game to work out.
Now, maybe your secret strategy isn't going as well as it's supposed to.
Maybe a little bit, but I think the draft itself was fine. Just maybe a little bit over aggressiveness coming from both sides, but I think NUS still has a chance. I believe in this secret strategy that we have drafted for them.
I love how the jungle already has started invading and started to build that Mercury threats. I think the CC that NUS has won't be able to stop that Udyr from running you down.
Yes. Right now, NUS just need to look to stabilize the game a little bit and be able to farm right now because they are 4,000 gold behind going 10 minutes into the game. They just need to be able to stabilize it such that they don't fall even further behind, because the later game goes, the more pokes they are able to do, the more team fight they can deny. However, they need to look to get the early dragons, because if not, it goes for the early Elder Soul, and that's not how they want to go.
Look at that EQ combo again onto that Xerath. And here comes the Nocturne onto the Nico itself. Xerath out. This is what you'll be talking about. The Nocturne out, and then Xerath, you don't know where he's shooting from.
Yes, and that is what we wanted to see from NUS. Using the level 6 ulti from the Nocturne with the Xerath combo. That's the combination that we want to see. And you look at it, it's so effective. It's just unfortunate that Xerath got caught a bit, so he wasn't able to be there for the full fight. But in general, that's how the combo works. And there is a Varus as well, so all the pokes are there to really just dish out the damage. But it's just whether NUS is able to survive to the point where they are able to start doing the damage.
And look, Ezreal has already completed Divine Thunderer and the TP onto the top lane from Nico. So could be a TP wasted actually, as they just disengage that fight easily.
talking about the teleport from Legend, right? I've never really seen him use the teleport because he is the Ignite player. So I'm actually honestly a little bit surprised he actually opted in for the teleport because I don't think he can. He don't think he can kill Seraph solo kill a few times. But imagine those solo kills just now where he almost solo killed Seraph twice,
Yeah.
or even thrice, right? If he had taken the Ignite, that would have been 3 solo kills by the Nico onto the Seraph.
Yeah, but I think the Nico is playing a bit for the team fight, you know. He's waiting for the opportunity to TP in, go invisible, and then pop that out on that 5-man.
Yes, and although the Jax, he is 20 CS down, he is 1 kill up. And here, look at top
Goes
side.
in, he gets the stun, he may even get a solo kill right here, he gets the kill. Look at that damage, it's not enough. That was a very close fight on the top side.
Yes, Kimberty misses his misses his final kill that allows the Jax to just hit home with the last auto attack. And SUTD just getting the
look
lead
at
everywhere and bottom
lane.
side.
You use the ult from Varus to save your life, but to save the Karmas, and now your Karma is getting dived. But I guess there's Nocturne and the TP coming in. This should be an even fight as the Karma goes down for early. Saves with a sliver of health as the Nocturne comes in, gets the kill onto the Udyr for the Xerath. And now look, Xerath uses the ult and gets free poke from the Ezreal there.
Oh, but they are not able to push in.
Yeah, the Nico is now on the tower. And look at your Xerath, it's low on HP and the Ezreal will be able to get the kill. Now Nocturne out has been used just to play a bit of time. Just to maybe close that gap on that set now that he is chasing so desperately.
Yes, and this, although I think that SUTD won in general, NUS managed to get some shutdowns over to their side. So it's still not too bad for the side of NUS, but that fight could have worked out way better. And looking at the item itself, Ezreal, 5-0 with the Divine Sundra. He probably is going back for his Muramana as well. This Ezreal is way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's you know, Ezreal, one of the champions, but he is an ADC. He has that arcane shift to get away, but he is an ADC, especially in the 2021 meta where ADCs, despite you going 10-0, you can still get killed by that 0-10 Yasuo in mid lane for some reason.
Yeah, but you've seen the changes to the Divine Sundra as well as probably even items such as Frozen Heart. Those are the big changes which allows Ezreal to come back into the meta currently. That is how you expect the Ezreal to build. So he is right now way ahead of the curve. He's able to dish out a big amount of damages. And looking at how NUS want to play right now, they do have the Herald, so they are looking to posture around the mid side. Probably use the Herald to get the Dragon, and they are looking to collapse onto the Udyr.
Yeah, but look at that root away. Forces the spell shield away from the Nocturne there, so it could be crucial in this team fight.
Yes, NUS looking to get the Dragon here. They are bringing all 5 members down, so Jax is having his own time at the top side. However, they are poking out Lonely Soul in the bottom side.
And but look on the flank. Nico is on the flank and Udyr gets the first kill. Now,
and Udyr gets the Dragon!
Yeah, it's amazing how, you know, NUS starts it and then Udyr gets it. And look, they turn the fight around and now it's a 3v3.
However, it is still a 2-for-2 in favor of both. None of the teams actually get a lead. And that is a double kill going with a side of, I think it was Chickers, I believe. And Lonely Soul get the final kill onto Kimati. So, all in all, SUTD with the big win in the Dragon fight.
Yeah, I loved how the Nico managed to survive there with a sliver of health and using that honey fruit to go back into lane and get that CS. He uses the flash to get away, and she uses the clone to trick the opponents, you know.
Yeah, and now right now NUS, they are 9,000 gold behind, 8,000 gold behind, 15 minutes into the game. This is not where NUS wants to be at this point of time.
Especially when now your Jax is now invading you, things are not looking good for the side of NUS.
Yes, and right now, even every lane right now is falling behind in terms of CS, in terms of kills. Maybe the only saving grace is that Xerath in the mid lane is really just slightly ahead. And look at top lane.
Oh, look at the level gap, and now even Pretentious will just get a solo kill onto you.
That is just unfortunate. Kimati dashing forward and not respecting that the Jax could have been there. And so another solo kill going over to the Jax. Top lane is no longer the island that Kimati can hold by himself.
I think the Wit's Edge build from the Jax, pretty interesting.
Well, I feel that the Wit's End build was very smart coming in from Pretentious because Gwen does so much AP damage, right? So building the Wit's End gives you the attack speed as well as the damage you require. And look here, he's just killing the Nocturne.
Yeah, he uses the fear, but it won't be enough as he just jumps back onto you, even though you fear him.
Yes, Pretentious just making Jax look like it's a viable champion in the current meta because of the build. But he is just solo killing both Gwen as well as Nocturne. And NUS right now just not respecting this Jax pick.
Yup. it looks like, the poke from Xerath may be coming in. I love that Nocturne out combo. We saw it used once, let's see it again in another team fight,
NUS right now, they are about 10,000 gold down, 16 minutes to the game. They just need to look to probably get some CS into their carries, into all the poke champions they have, because that's probably the only way they're coming back from this. SUTD on the other hand, they just want to keep snowballing the game because right now they are in an advantageous position.
You land the stun onto the Nico, but it's not enough damage, compared to the Nico's EQ combo. So we saw a barrage to clean the wave. Maybe get this even tier 2 tower on the mid.
Right now, all tier 1 turrets have fallen down for the side of NUS. SUTD right now, they are playing the map beautifully. They are moving around the map. They might look to get the second herald of the game because that's the only way they are able to use it to actually exert more pressure right now because no objectives are up. And NUS, I don't think they are going to look to fight for this herald because right now they just need to get the CS as well as the EXP onto the carries.
And then you look at the vision. You look at the amount of vision that SUTD has set up and the amount of pressure that Nico can provide against NUS right here.
Now, Herald being taken over by the side of SUTD, they probably want to save it for the next Dragon because usually you want to use the Herald to actually create the lane pressure with the Herald and then go for the Dragon uncontested. So, I think NUS right now, they just want to stabilize the game. I do think it will be a Cloud Soul because of how the map has changed to the Cloud Terrain. So, it is not the worst Soul outcome for for NUS, so they can definitely fall back a little bit and be a bit more passive and just wait out for the correct moment where they can fight. But having the Cloud Soul is actually very useful for champions like Nico as well as Udyr because it gives the extra CDR in their kit for the ultis and the important combos that they need to line up. Now the Jax, however, he is 2 items up, whereas Kimati is only 1 item. I don't think Kimati is able to handle the Jax inside lanes.
Now, I really think that you need to play for those numbers advantage fights against SUTD here. And look at how this Nico is playing. I love how passive and she plays around the vision basically. You don't have the vision of the Nico, she pops that out, you just walk right into it. You are just, a blind man crossing the road.
Yes, and NUS right now, they have no control over the jungle. SUT just walking over the jungle, taking even the blue buff as well away from the grass grower or NUS, the jungle as well. So NUS right now, they just need to find a way back. And I think it just boils down to how long they can hold the game to the point where the carries are starting to collect all the items. But as of now, SUTD is just too far ahead. Nearly 2 items or almost all their carries except for the mid laner.
I think really the mid lane may go for a early Magi's or even, the stopwatch.
I mean, he definitely wants to go for those stopwatch, right? Because he's going in all in with his combo. So he wants to be able to have some safety kit inside of him. But we kind of mentioned about how mid lane is the focus point. But let's look at the game itself. It hasn't been the mid lane. It has been all about the AD carry. Lonely Soul has been popping off even without his mid lane roaming to bottom.
Yeah, it's scary how, Lonely Soul at the bottom lane as an aggressive AD carry on the Ezreal applies so much pressure against the Varus or the Karma with even a longer range than Ezreal.
Yeah, so Lonely Soul is all up on him to really just close out the game beautifully with his teammates in SUTD and prevent pretensions in the top lane using his Jax, getting his own lead as well. Now,
yeah, and look, Kimati uses the ult with the help from Xerath. This may be a kill on the side for the side of NUS here. They're on the chase, but they can't be able to secure it. They forced the flash off the Jax, but not the teleport as of yet.
Yeah, so that was a win for the side of SUTD because they were able to draw out the flash from the Karma as well as take away an Ignite Summoner from Kimati. So it prevents another fight coming in for at least 3 to 5 more minutes because they need the Summoners up to be able to kill the Jax. And SUTD right now is just moving into the jungle, taking everything away from NUS.
No, there's really nothing you can do as the Nocturne. Look, you're 70 CS down nearly. What do you do?
I think right now NUS, they are kind of slipping away from what seems like to be a winnable game to become not winnable, but they still have the late game scaling. And it's not really the Infernal Soul that we're talking about, it is the Cloud Soul. So there is some chance that they can actually look to the Elder Dragon, maybe get the Elder Dragon steal, and from then turn around the game.
No, you need to play with it for the long run, especially when you're this far behind. You need to play for those 1-for-1 trades for your AD carries, your carries of the game, to get those shutdowns.
Yeah. Indeed, and now looking at the lane assignment as well, we see that there's 3-man stack in the mid lane, and Varus is just taking away the bottom lane farm. I think this is very smart from the side of NUS. They're just trying to allocate the resources optimally to all the carries, and SUTD, they are still in control of the game.
Oh, Nico may be caught out here. She uses the root and she gets the 2-man start. Nocturne is coming in for the fight as they just end Nico's life there.
Yes, and it's just unfortunate that it wasn't any other carries, right? Because Nico is the only carry in the enemy team that doesn't have a bounty. So
Yeah.
if only there was a bounty into Nico, that would have been favorable for NUS. But a kill is still a kill nonetheless, and they got it 1 for nothing. So it is in favor of NUS. So SUTD right now, they just need to slowly look into the game and just look, maybe even bait the Baron out. And using the Baron, they can look to turn around the fight with their wombo combos.
And then you look at now, it seems like SUTD has 2 AD carries, compared to Senna being the support. Despite her being the support, look at the amount of vision score that Nico has. 56 at 21 minutes, and being the mid laner especially.
So is Nico actually the mid laner or is he the support?
No one really knows. As look, now NUS is on the pursuit from the 3 members of SUTD. The Varus outlands, it won't be enough, and they can't be able to follow up.
And so the poke damage coming in from NUS is not to the point of where they want it to be yet. So it just needs to be scaled a little bit more. The items are coming in for NUS. However, SUTD right now, they are just getting away with all the items. Look at Senna's item, however. It is the Frostfire build. The nerfed build is of what we talked about, the Divine Sandra build that has been more prominent in the current patch. But Frostfire build still works, although the slow as well as the output of the damage on Frostfire has been nerfed for the range carries.
I think this build that the Senna has provided allows for more frontline opportunities. With the Frostfire, allows for that extra health, and her passive, the stacks that she can get, is enough to contest the fights.
Yeah, I think he goes for this build because he'll get poked out by the Team NUS a lot. So it just prevents him from dying too early because it gives the resistance, it gives the health, and it gives him the CC to allow to try and survive the onslaught from NUS. But the lane actually went in favor of SUTD, so he should have looked into another different build, probably go for the more aggressive build. But now SUTD, they look to start the Baron without NUS knowing.
The amount of vision they set up before the Baron fight already proves that NUS really cannot contest this. Unless, you steal it with some kind of ulti, but the Xerath already used this.
And look at NUS, they are making a play bottom side.
Oh look, Pretentious going in, he gets the stun, but it won't be enough as the Gwen just shuts him down immediately. But, in response to that, SUTD gets the Baron.
Yes, Pretentious a little bit overextended, but trying to deny the Baron steal from NUS by trying to be the bait in the bottom side. I don't think he has to do that, but he gives the Baron over to the side of SUTD. 4 members having the Baron, this mid-tier tutor will definitely fall down.
I think the Nico can go into an Ezreal and then trick out NUS right here. Oh, then you see the Nico again is getting chased again. He lands the 2-man stun, but he goes for the 3-man root and he gets that amount of damage off. The Nico won't be able to survive. Ooh, she survives barely with the amount of HP she has, and now Chickers goes in. Chickers won't be doing a lot as look, Lonely Rod secures the kill onto the Xerath. Now you don't have your artillery anymore and your TP is coming down mid lane. True Shot Barrage lands and he gets a double kill with that. Insane. He gets a triple even, and look, they're going in for the dive. They may even look for an end here.
Penta!
What
on
the hell?
Lonely Soul, the carry that we talked about in the Champion Select, how he is also one of the focal point of SUTD. Carries his team with the Pentakill, and this is the end for NUS.
Yeah, the Secret Strategy really didn't go as you said it would. I think SUTD played, the team fights better.
Yes, it's not just about the team fight, it's all about the laning phase as well. How the laning actually impacts the team fight was what matters most, and that is how SUTD, using the laning prowess of the carries, gets the win over NUS, and this is what SUTD needed after the week 1 loss against NUS. TP.
I love this fight. You really have to watch out for that Nico knee, and then what do you do after that? In this, you fed the carry too much in the ADC role, I believe.
Yeah, but it's not really about the Nico, right? Because when you look at the game or the overall score, the Nico really didn't do much. But it's all about the Ezreal, how accelerated he is in the game, and from the accelerated position he is, how much he is able to impact the game. And he just delivers with the Ezreal. This Ezreal pick was too little on him, and he definitely dealt the killing blow onto NUS. And NUS, although I believe the draft was not, say, the perfect draft, but it was still a good draft to counter how SUTD wanted to play. but it just fell behind a little bit too early, and because it fell behind too fast, there was no way to come back.
And then, because of the Ezreal, you allow for the Nico to set up vision into your jungle, and then you allow the carries of SUTD to just go in and take your camps.
Yeah, so NUS, they did fall down in week 2, however, they will want to bounce back in week 3, so NUS will have to do their work, but SUTD, getting the win here is important for them because it starts back the winning momentum in order to qualify for the qualifying spots for the top 8.
Yeah. Now, I believe SUTD now has the one win, one loss situation. So they should be able to go against the other teams in Group B to get this win.
Yeah, so SUTD, definitely I feel one of the group favorites to qualify are back in the comfortable position to look for the qualification. But right up next, we will be having NTU versus Temasek Polytechnic, so stay tuned. We'll be taking a break.